Hello, Brent Hampton. How are you this evening?
Bogan, mate. How are you, guys? Everyone tuning in. BJ on Game Day. Back again for our final week season review. No Joshy. Bogues, just me and you tonight, bud. How are you?
Yeah, I don't know where Joshy is. He's missing in action. Maybe it's the embarrassing output he had. He had during the final week there, which saw me get up over the top of him overall.
Would you look at that? That seems like so long ago now, mate. What, about 4 weeks ago now? So yeah, we've got our scores to finish off the year. And Bogan, you've come out ahead of both of us.
Yeah,
Big 1300, mate. Well done. Absolutely massive.
yeah. Well, we predicted it was coming because Josh had only 11 players on the field or something like that. But I didn't expect to blow out by over 300 points and end up beating him overall.
Yeah, well, it was a big 300 point catch up for you there, mate. I am looking at those averages, not much between us, but
No.
3 points between myself and yourself. But mate, talk me through your last couple of trades for the year, or your last trade, or whatever you ended up
Oh
doing.
fuck! What was it? Oh,
Cody Walker.
it was. It was too. Yeah, yeah. I brought him in. I brought him in, and I don't know why. I just had this feeling about him. I just brought him in, and he ended up fucking scoring 200 points.
Yeah,
So
he broke the record. He
he did.
taking on the Chooks
And
there.
you asked me why I picked him, and I just went, I don't know. I had a feeling about him, and I just went, oh well, South Sydney, fuck it, bring him in. I had who did I have?
Munster got
I
rested,
had
didn't you?
Munster, yeah, and I Munster was out, so I fucking slotted him in, and it fucking paid off. But yeah, what probably more fucking pissed me off was I had him in draft the week before, and Teddy wasn't playing, and because I was out of the running in draft, I didn't bother changing my fucking team or anything like that. So he was still in my draft team, and my draft team scored their best of the season against fucking no one, dead rubber for me.
No, I had him in draft. What are you talking about?
Did you?
Yeah, I had he
Oh,
was
who
the
did I
reason I
have?
think I won the draft.
Who did I have in draft then that scored
Oh,
fucking?
you probably had Starling,
I did have
uh,
Starling.
who scored 150 odd, I think, in the last round. There was
Oh,
plenty of guys rested in round
It was
20. So,
Alex Johnson.
yes, it would have been Alex
Yeah,
Johnson. So it
and
was an absolute
he scored 5 tries.
destruction. I don't have any of it in front of me, Bogues, at the moment. But yeah, South Sydney put 60 points on the Sydney Roosters, which nobody saw it coming. And as I said, Cody Walker broke the record, so the first man to crack 200 since this scoring system was introduced. Absolutely massive from Cody Walker. Through head-to-head grand finals into absolute disarray if you didn't have him, or if you did have him, drafts as we will soon see. Yeah, massive round to finish. Plenty of guys rested all over the park with the top 8 essentially cemented. It meant a lot of teams were just resting their key stars. So it was havoc, but in the end, we got through it. I think I started out the week having possible 19 guys playing, and then I think Rudolph got ruled out, Avarillo got ruled out, Ramian got ruled out, and I ended up having about 15 playing myself. So summed up the year really. But Bogan, congrats, mate. You've done well in your second year playing, I believe. So you've outdone us. We'll have to rename the channel next season, I think, mate.
Yeah, well, BBJ, I guess, but
ABJ on Game Day.
ABJ, ABJ on Game Day. It sounds like an old timey Victorian porno. Yeah, well, my goal at the start of the season was top 5,000, and that last week's score scraped me through. So
No,
yeah,
well done, mate. You achieved your goal.
disappointing in some ways, but would have liked to got a score like that being in some grand finals, but it wasn't to be. So it's a
No, like I said, mate,
nice way to finish though.
Big turnaround from last year, so well done, mate. Credit where credit's due. So what we're going to do here tonight, Bo, I think we're just going to recap a bit of the BJ leagues, who won out the grand finals. A bit of a recap on the season was. Have a bit of a look at the grand final as well, mate. Obviously, grand final week, we'll have Penrith taking on the Melbourne Storm on Sunday. Both those teams had the week off last week and come out better for it. Panthers getting over the Bunnies in a close one, mate. Your guys and Storm putting on a bit of a masterclass against the Raiders, especially in that first 25 minutes. So 1v2, I think they are the two best teams in the comp this year, and I think it's going to be a pretty interesting grand final.
Yeah, well, we'll see how things go. You'd have to say that Penrith probably deserve it, but I don't know.
They carry a 17-game winning streak into the grand final, and they don't go in favourites. Minor premiers. I don't know how that works, but it should be an interesting one. I think the performance last week, Penrith, it wasn't impressive. There was a lot of drop balls and things like that, so probably a bit of reflection in the odds there. But yeah, it should still be a cracker. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, yeah. I can see why the bookmakers, though, are probably suspecting that Panthers don't have as much big game experience as the Storm. Plus, he hasn't officially announced it, but it's the worst kept secret in rugby league that it's going to be Cam Smith's last game, at least for the Storm. So, yeah, we'll see how things go. I'm probably favouring the Storm at this stage as well.
Yeah, look, I think the Penny Panthers' experience has been put to the test in their two finals games. That they won two close games. I thought South Sydney might have been able to roll them in the end if it wasn't that 40-20 from Adam Reynolds where he had stepped on the line, so it wasn't actually counted. And then also the Roosters come back at them pretty hard, and again they possibly could have lost that one. So whilst they're a young team, they've already shown they can, I guess, hold on. And get the W's, which counts for a lot. So it'll be interesting to see. They come up against the masters of it, I guess, in the Melbourne Storm and Craig Bellamy. So it's going to be, the ultimate test for them.
Well, and they've got 11 players off contract or something like that. I was reading. I don't know if they've re-signed any since I was reading that, but this could be their only shot. Like, there's been talk of the Raiders' Premiership window closing, but 11 players is a big chunk of a roster.
And I think, when they have a year like they have where they've sort of, possibly not come completely out of nowhere, but not many people would have expected them to be in the grand final and have won 7 in a row and got the minor premiership. I think they only lost one game all year, and that was to Para. So you will have some young blokes possibly that, probably weren't household names before the season began, like, Stephen Crichton, possibly Brian Tu'u, maybe guys like Edwards, Liam Martin, Yo. These guys now are, arguably, maybe not household names, but they're much better known now because of what they've been doing in the Penrith team. So, they're going to attract interest from other clubs and, probably be offered a bit more money that they're on now. So it will be interesting to see, if they do have a big number of guys off contract, whether they can hold on to that nucleus. You look at someone like Jerome Luai, they've got to keep him there. He's had an absolutely massive year. He just got better and better every week. But, there's some clubs out there that'll be looking to splash some money, and there'll be plenty that would be looking at someone like Jerome Luai if he was off contract. I don't know who those guys are, but, yeah, plenty of good young talent coming through at Penrith. They've always had the good juniors. So, good on them. And enjoy those Penny Panthers fans out there, especially Shano. He'll be loving that.
Yeah, Shano's got an early start, so he ducked in the chat and then ducked out. So hopefully he watches the replay tomorrow on his way to work or something like that, or listens to it if he's driving. And yeah, shout out to Shano. Good luck for your Panthers. I don't really have a lot invested in this. I don't really give a shit about either team. So
no, I was just hoping for a good contest, eh?
Yeah. We'll see how things go. But do you want to go through the last final round's results, or do you want to skip that and just go straight to it, considering it's all over for everyone?
Oh, mate, I'm happy to run through grand final winners, and if you've got whatever you got there, I'm happy to do, mate.
Oh, okay, so I've got the results for the final round in the Supercoach, like the match results. But if you don't want to go,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, look, we can skim. I guess it's probably a bit of a moot point at this point, just because the season is over. We're 4 weeks sort of down the track, and there's not much point in recapping or anything like that too much. But happy to just jump straight into grand final winners or anything like that you've got.
Alrighty, let's do that then. So it'll be a short one, but we've got all of 6 people watching.
And to anyone that is tuned in, I can't see any of the comments at the moment. I'm only on my phone, but
we will do a bit of shit talk at the end. I'll bring up the chat so Brent can see it.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, though, guys, for our last show of the season.
Yeah, well, and g'day to everyone who's listening to the replay, because I know there's blokes like Big Ted and stuff like that who have to work early that can't catch us live.
Absolutely, Big Ted. Shout out, brother. Probably Ginge as well. So thanks, boys, for tuning in every week. I know you're having a listen, and much appreciated as always, fellas.
All right, just let me bring up the...
Probably
the group.
Squandered some hours of work for you there, Bogan. Apologies for that, mate.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I grabbed all that stuff a month ago anyway, so it's all good. So, the BJ and GameDay group was taken out by Badonkadonk. Dan, 15th overall.
Absolutely massive, mate. So
missed out on the top. Was it top 11?
Yeah, the top 11. He would have got himself a tracksuit,
a key ring,
the socks and all that sort of stuff. And well done, Dan. That's absolutely massive, mate. Finished the season with 13-14, 12.57 average. You'd take that any day of the week. If someone offered that to me, before a season started, I'd, no question asked, you'd take that. So. I'm not too sure how far off the money placings he is there, but absolutely massive from Dan. Anyone in the top thousands had a really good year, especially on top 100, top 200. So a few guys in there. You got Benjamin with the diarrhea trousers, the cunning stunts, who was pretty solid most of the year. Kando's finished pretty strong. I think that's a PB year for Big Kando as well, 169. So he sent us a pic of those socks and key rings and hat that he got. I think the socks are pretty cool, Bogan. I don't know if you've seen
I haven't seen
picture of them that they got. I think they got some pictures of buckets of chicken and the Colonel and the Supercoach logo on them. They're pretty cool. So I'm pretty dark about missing out on those socks mainly. But well done. Anyone, as I said, in that top 1,000, everyone on the screen there, you've had a big year. So well done, guys. And Dan, 15th overall in the group, so absolutely enormous.
All right. Next up is the BJ on GameDay League overall scores, and obviously Kane Anderson's crushed that. Wayno came second in the overall, followed by myself, and then Bundy. And then Lisa with the Tigress, and Lisa was actually tracking really well at the start of the season, but sort of fell off there for a bit at the end.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Kando probably finished, well ahead of everyone in there. But you look at everyone else, like I think Wayno went pretty quiet under the radar as well. He must have had a good finish to the year, but just a solid. But you look at everyone from sort of yourself down to, McCaw, even Bogues at the averages, and 4 points over a round, 20 rounds. What's that, 80 points? It's not much, is it? But look at how many guys are in that, 1201 to 1197. There's from 3rd to 10th in our main league in there, all just heat.
And all the leagues are sort of like that. I believe there was in one of the leagues, there was a bloke who was in the semi-finals of the head-to-head. He wasn't even in the top 10 for scorers in the league. So,
yeah, and I think any other year to average 1,200 would be massive. So I think, the rule change, the ball being a bit more in play, Like I said, with less penalties, there's more footy getting played, less, taking the 2 because they're calling 6 agains and that sort of stuff. There's possibly more base stats out there for the guys, but also more attacking stats with some tired bodies out there, possibly. So, that's probably where some of these high averages are coming from. But, it's been a really interesting year, obviously, with COVID. No origin break, no buys or anything like that. It was a very different year. So,
but I reckon they should get rid of the buys anyway. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, look, I think it was a sort of whoever could get that, your best 17 in as quickly as you could, which is easier said than done. But, the buys, some people like the buy period and trying to pick those sort of cheapy mid-range guys that might get a run and making up a bit of ground with some buy planning and that sort of thing. So, it was an unprecedented year. We probably won't see another like it, unless Origin becomes a permanent fixture at the end of the year, which
it
what will
fucking
happen there.
I know they're talking about it, but geez,
well, at the end of the day, I think the numbers will do the talking if it rates well, which it probably will, because there's not going to be anything else on the telly apart from a bit of Big Bash.
The Big Bash is dying in the ass as well, ratings wise.
I mean.
But that being said, now that they're lifting a lot of the COVID restrictions and stuff like that, it might be a blessing in disguise for the Big Bash, because people might be a bit thirsty to get out there and
possibly, mate.
Watch a bit of sport.
What I don't like about Origin through the year is that you get the injuries caused by Origin, suspensions caused from Origin, which is unfair on the clubs, but it also sort of makes Supercoach a bit hard. But the thing I don't like about having it after the season is, that's when, players like to have a rest. If we want to see competitions like the Nines be played early in the new year, it's probably, a lot of guys that are either playing Origin
and
Queensland, aren't going to play
Queensland's looking actually pretty weak, because they've got several players that are electing to have their post-season surgeries and stuff like that.
Oh, and that's the other thing. I think after such a season that they have, this was a shortened season. I know they didn't have any breaks or anything like that, but exactly what you said, guys are playing busted. They're battling through, finals or whatever they can for their teams, and that's their time to sort of rest and get those, like you said, your surgeries done. So I think Newcastle, there's about half a dozen of them that are getting post-season surgery. So, I think they've got to think about it a bit more rather than just a tick and flick. But I think V'landys is sort of seeing the dollar signs, as you can imagine, and if it rates well, then don't be surprised if they talk about it staying there in the years to come.
Anyways, on to the head-to-head. So BJ and GameDay League, Kane Anderson, unbeaten season.
Look, I reckon what he's done will probably not ever happen again. He went undefeated with the minor premiership, undefeated all the way through. So well done, Kando. Absolutely massive season. I think, as I said, he had his PB year overall. He's wiped everyone in this league. So I think, credit where credit's due. He's had a big year. I think I knocked him off in draft, and he'll be dark about that, but we might have to sort something out for him for this performance. It's been a pretty good one. I'll have to have a chat to him.
So on.
What do you go? He's like what going? What do you go, Bogan? Like, what do we have? 17 regular rounds and then finals.
Yeah.
So anyway, well done, Kendo. He's got.
Yep.
Oh, sorry. I'm just looking, seeing what we've got up here now. We got the. Is this the 2? 2.0?
No, this is the BJ All-In League.
The All-In, yep. So Trent, that's actually a mate of mine I went to high school with, has topped that league there, Bogan. Yep. So pretty solid. 12, 13 average for the season, just outside the top 2K.
Actually,
overall.
Pretty high scoring league, this one. So there was at one stage there where it was looking like it might rank as higher league than the BJ on GameDay League, but at the end, I think the lower half wasn't as crash hot in this one.
Well, I think we talked about what 3rd to 10th was from you at 12:01 to 11:97 with McClure in 10th. This one's got a few, guys around 12:13, 12:12. So Tomo, Michael, Josh Miller's dogs and Matty, even Dills had a pretty good year there. Sherlock Holmes is that 13? Yeah, Sherlock Holmes 13. So yeah, another solid league, and then you, Joshy, and me. Looking, that's probably going to be
It's a bit of a sad
where we sit for most
time.
of them. So, yeah, well done, guys. Another pretty solid league and big year from a few guys there. Yeah, obviously we play it every week and we know what goes into it. And for guys that are finishing above us, are probably taking it pretty seriously as well. So good year, guys.
And onto the head-to-head for that league. And Call Me Big Puppy got up over Trent. Gave him a flogging, actually, in the final. It was a Josh King-esque score there by Trent in the final round.
Yeah, so his soldiers must have all fallen over, like you said, Bogues. So Tomo gets the last laugh, I guess. He finished in second overall, didn't he?
Second overall, but took out the head-to-head.
So he takes out the head-to-head of the what's this one? What do we call it again?
This was the All-In League.
The All-In League. So well done there, Bogan. You've fallen short in the grand final there. So
it would have been nice. It would have been nice if Trent had his fucking low score the week before, but because I would have got up over Big Puppy as well in that one. But
so 1,200, pretty decent score to finish off the round with all the carnage that was going on. And plenty of people burnt like Trent was there with 1,000s and stuff like that. So
on to the BJ version 2. So and it was Frizzy's Generals with Blake topped that league in the overall. And me, Josh, and you all, because we were so close together, all came in.
Yeah.
In second, third, fourth there.
Yeah. So this league probably dragged out a little bit more. Bogues, obviously, guys might have, copped it a bit in that last round or lost interest at the back end. I think was the third league we had set up.
Yeah.
So people sort of were, struggling into this one a bit by the end of it. Well done, Blakey. Top scored that one, beat all three of us with the 12:02 average and just outside the top 4K. So pretty good effort, mate. Who else we got there? Zeus's Bronx. I think that was James. He had a big score towards the end of the year there. I think he had like a top 5 or something in there at one point, or a top 10. So Footsters. Shane's dogs, fish feeders, cousins, brothers team in there or something like that. But
which is like, I think he and Josh had a bet or something like that on overall. I'm not sure. We'll have to find out about that.
Oh yeah, I think they did. It was a Carolina Reaper on who finished higher overall.
Well, Joshy's just narrowly avoided that.
Oh, so Shano's up for a Reaper, I believe. If Shano, you're watching this, please confirm whenever you get onto this. I reckon I've been chatting to Shano. I'll have to quiz him up on it. I'll have to produce with something open up for next season.
And in the head-to-head, so fifth place overall, Tim with the big ballers, just got up over Josh there.
There you go.
So low
quite
scoring
interesting
affair there.
It goes to show, Bogan, there's no Frizzy's Generals even in that final series. So he's top scored the whole league.
Yeah.
And he didn't even make the top 8 of the finals in the head-to-head. So it goes to show.
This was the one, Dean, with Agony of Defeat. You might have noticed he wasn't on that top 10, but he made it all the way to the semi-finals.
It just goes to show head-to-head's a different beast. Obviously, the total points, anything can happen week to week. You can, for 10 weeks in a row, get the second highest score in the league. But if for those 10 weeks you're unfortunate enough to draw the guy that scores the highest, obviously you're going to, cop it. So hence why I'm not always, the biggest fan of head-to-head leagues, and I'm always sort of been a total points overall player. Because head-to-head isn't always the best reflection of who the best player is. That said, it's just a different aspect to it all, and playing head-to-head cash leagues and stuff like that. It's still good fun, but it just goes to show how how different it can be if you just get a bit unlucky throughout the year with head-to-heads.
And on to the big one, the final one, for the
Well done, Timmy.
Premiership.
Well done, Timmy, and the big ballers there.
So Brent Hampton. So what did we call it in the last week's show? You said it would be the greatest upset since Newcastle beat Parramatta.
Yeah, I think so. I think 2001 Newcastle Para big favourites. I did a post on Facebook, Bogan. I'll have to show you. I did a bit of a write-up, some comparison of some key stats, and I even put some odds up. And I think I had Kando about $1.25.
And I just
Head to head.
got to point out, I would have whooped both ears. My best score of the fucking year is in the final round against no one.
Yeah, well, you can suck on that because I have taken it out. Look, it was Cody Walker was it the Thursday night game? I don't know what it was. I remember at the time I was sort of like, this will be a big game because I had Takiaho, I think I had Angus Crichton, Damien Cook and Cody Walker all in my team. And Cody Walker was the one I was most worried about because of the matchup, obviously, against the Chooks. And I just thought, God, this will make it or break it. And I think he had a couple, he had a couple line breaks early and he was on like 70 or 80 pretty early on. And I thought, this is good. I'll take that. Little did I know what was about to unfold. So, yeah, unfortunate for Kane, though. I'll have to send you through the analysis, the little write-up that I did, Bogues. But, Kando's team was absolutely stacked full of guys that, you would expect to see in a well-performing classic team all across the park. Both of us probably got hit with a few guys getting ruled out, so we were both jumping into the free agency. He had Johnny Bateman. I can't even remember who else off the top of my head, but I had Jerome Hughes, who was, rested, Viliami Kikau. I had a heap of Melbourne guys, Olam and Brenko Lee. So we were really reaching into that free agency. And, the Cody Walker 200 in the end, plus a few, lucky pickups from the free agents throughout the week got me home. So I'll take it. It's one for the draft vets. I said. I think at one point
we were calling you the draft king at the start of the season, so you ended up coming through at the end. And I've got a special graphic just for you. So
look at that.
I know you changed your team name early on in the season, but Hampto's Hitmen got up.
Yeah, look, official statement coming out. We'll rename the fold in 2021. The Team Phantom will be renamed the Hitmen. So, yeah, a bit of background from that one. We originally were the Hitmen, and then I did a puzzle room and realised you can spell Phantom with my last name, and I thought that was quite entertaining, hence the name change. But, yes, thank you, Bogan. I'll take it. It was a tough year in Classic, so I'll savour this one and, go down in the record books in BJ on GameDay folklore with that one. So, cheers, mate.
So, with those results in, we can name the 10 teams that will make up the 2021 Premiership draft.
Yeah, let's do it. Sounds good.
So, obviously, myself, Josh, and yourself. Kane Anderson and Hell's Grannies, Killer Coronas and Call Me Big Puppy, Frizzy's Generals and Big Ballers. Very lucky there for Big Ballers because me, you and Josh finishing high up there, and Badonkadonk for Dan as the group winner. That being said, much like this year, if we can't get a hold of someone or something like that, we'll probably sub in one of the regulars from the chat, or I think Bundy got subbed in.
Bundy was Charlie.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. So guys, if you are watching this, reach out to us, whether you got Facebook or I don't think we're on Twitter anymore. Even in the YouTube comments, just reach out to us in some ways, or we'll try and get in touch. Obviously that's a fair way away now. We're sitting in mid-October. That won't be till March sort of next year. But
I will be doing a separate Bogan draft though.
Yep,
an
sounds good.
invitational for the regulars, and basically, blokes I think will make a funny vid when we do draft night. So we'll get Shano and Big Ted and all of those characters in on that.
Yeah, for sure, mate. Sounds good. So, I'll run the two, but yeah, these are the guys. Well done. Looking forward to competing with you guys next year if you're keen. And also, yeah, with Bogan, with the best of the BJ crew in the other one. Should be a bit of a laugh with a few of the boys on that one, but yeah, looking forward to it.
And that being said, I'm seeing that Benny G's in the chat.
Hey, Benny.
We'll be getting in blokes like Ben into. I think there'll be a few relegations in the BJ and Game Day League. Won't say who, but
yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, plenty of guys, from the chat bows. We chucked a few guys from the YouTube chat into a Facebook chat throughout the year.
Yeah.
So Benny's in there, Gomez, Shano, obviously, and it was a pretty good chat. We were just sort of sharing a bit of our, Supercoach news and stuff as it come up, and a few of those guys are pretty keen to play in a draft. They haven't played in one before, so yeah, it would be really good to get those boys in on that, and I'm sure they'll be keen for it. So definitely line that one up for 2021, Bogues.
Yeah, well, it looks like that's it, mate.
Yeah, mate. Well, thank you.
Do you want me to bring up the chat for you so you can see them,
mate? You got an actual? Can you give me a tip? The score for the grand final on Sunday. What are you thinking?
24-18 the Storm.
All right, so you're going those purple bastards, eh? Yeah, look, it is hard to overlook them. I just don't like to see them win, mainly because Cameron Smith's from Queensland, and yeah, I don't like Queenslanders all that much, especially ones that contributed to their 8-year dominance over New South Wales for a while there. So I would love to see the Panthers get up. The young team just with a bit of youthful exuberance to start well. Hopefully they can, keep their hands on the footy, not too many unforced errors. And
I reckon it's rigged. That's why South lost. And they want the fairy tale finish for Cam Smith.
They probably do, and I'm really hoping Penrith rain on that parade. I think Penrith can get the job done.
Storm will win, and Cam Smith will.
I don't know what the scoreline is, but I'm looking for Penrith maybe. What? Penrith. Let's go. Penrith. Can they score 4 tries? I don't know. Penrith 18-12.
There's a bit of a low scoring one for these two teams.
Yeah, I think possibly. We'll see. And mate, thoughts on Jack Whiten and the Dally M's last night? The Dally M's were announced. It's Tuesday.
I can see there was a lot of people pissed off about it, but that's just the way that the fucking Dally M's are scored. Like, a lot of people are saying that Cleary should have won it, and I'm like, yeah. But the fact of the matter is that Cleary wasn't the standout in his own team every week, so that's the way it's scored. Like, Whiten was the top raider. Like,
we talked about it
consistently
in a little bit in the chat as well. I think Cleary was a victim of playing in a side that was, performing very well, and you might not say stacked, but
there's been a lot of talk, especially from the shithouse press, that we need to relook at the way the Dally M scored. And it's like, well, no, fuck off. Just have a separate best and fairest award or something like that, have an award that is picked by a panel or something like that. That's separate.
Yeah, look, like I said, I think there was only realistically one guy. If Canberra played well, there's only one guy that's probably demanding points over Whiten, and that was Josh Papali. Georgie Williams had some good games, but there wasn't probably anyone else in that side. Maybe Tapane at the back end of the year, but if the Raiders were playing well, it was generally off the back of whatever Whiten was doing. He's solid ball running. He's good in defence. Whereas, Cleary didn't have to have a good game for Penrith to win, whilst he did have a big hand in a lot of their big wins. At the back end of the year, it was Luai. Luai. Edwards had some good games. You look at like Asai Yo had some good games to finish the year as well. Well, he come back from injury, but Kickout could have a good game. Mansour could have a blinder. Edwards, Coruscant, Fisher Harris. There was just players across the park that could have good games for Penrith, and Cleary didn't have to do much.
That's the thing though. Like if you're dragging it back to Supercoach, well, you'd have to say it'd be Teddy, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and it's
he scored by
Supercoach,
far the most points, and that's got defined terms.
I think I can see a bit of the chat in there now as I lean in. I think what Kando said's got to be merit. Should be a panel for every game. So you look at, I don't know if you paid too much attention to it, Bogues, but Gutho didn't poll any points in his last game of the round. I don't think it was his busiest game for sure, but I still think he had his hand in a couple tries. He made a big try-saving tackle that probably...
Yeah, but that's because the Daily M scored by a bunch of fucking journos and shit.
Well, it's ex-players.
Is it ex-players?
So it was Brett Kamali that polled that last Parramatta Tigers game, and Luke Brooks scored a point in a side that got beat. So I know that was a pretty entertaining game, but anyway, there's always going to be this sort of thing. I think a lot of people thought that Cleary should have got it, and that Whiten didn't deserve it. But it's nothing new with rugby league. Whether you get the same. There's less guys scoring it. I don't know, but it's always been this way. I don't know.
All I know is that when David Fairley won it in the 90s, it was legit. So.
And I honestly, as bad as it sounds, I'm not trying to knock the bloke, but I didn't think Whiten was the best player in the comp for the season, personally. And I also possibly didn't think he was the best player in the grand final that they lost last year. So he's got a Clive Churchill. He's now got a Dally. Pretty big accolades.
Is he going to end up the most? How could you put it? The highest accoladed player to never win a GF. Like,
I think that was at the moment he's the first player to have won the Dalian that hadn't won a grand final. Don't quote me on that.
No, David. Well, David from North Sydney, David Fairley.
Possibly.
David Fairley won a Daily M. I think.
Was it a Daily M at that point?
Yeah. And I believe Jason Taylor won one as well.
Daily M's really.
It's on my North Sydney schooner glass. Okay,
maybe it was in the NRL era or something.
The Daily M winners for North Sydney. So that is a reliable source. Okay.
Yeah, look, anyway, Whiten was rested in the last game, so he was held on. Cleary didn't poll, Gutho didn't poll. Sean Johnson did pretty well, but was injured at the back end. Anyway, well done, Jack Whiten. Pretty massive for him, as I said, to get those 2 accolades under his belt. And he'll probably only get better as he gets more comfortable with the 5'8" position. I think he only got moved there last year, so... Anyway, hopefully he plays well for the Blues, mate.
Yeah, well, bit disappointed. There's only 3 South players, but fair enough.
So what have we got in the chat? I can see Benny, Kando. How you going, boys?
It's the boys. It's the Benny and Kane show tonight in the chat.
How are you, lads?
Well, we know who our true friends are.
Yeah, look, this writing on my screen is absolutely tiny.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't make it.
What else? So, are we done, Bogan? So, we've got the grand final on Sunday. Origin will follow a couple of weeks later. No nines, obviously, this year, but I think the footy will start up again end of March.
Yeah, I might put a few videos up just to keep the channel content going because of the stupid YouTube algorithm. Now... I did suggest this to you and Josh. I haven't heard back from Josh, and you were like, "I don't give a shit." A potential move to Twitch next season.
Oh yes, yes. Yeah, mate.
Because
As I said, I don't care.
YouTube's turning pretty shit on the way that it treats creators in recent years, and Twitch seems to be getting better and better. So that's something we might discuss early on next year, whether we do the live streams on Twitch. Obviously, the VODs will always still be up on YouTube for those who want to watch them. Good thing about Twitch, though, is that I know a lot of people complain about not being able to listen with their phone screen off on YouTube. You can do that through the Twitch app.
Yeah, it sounds good, Bogan. Look, you're the man with all that sort of stuff. I just sort of rock up and talk a bit of shit, and so does Josh. So, happy to do what you think.
It's just more functionality. We were going to do some poll. It was going to be an award show until Josh piked out, and we were going to do some polls, but he wasn't sure how to do that. So there's functionality and shit like that on Twitch that we could have used.
Thanks, Benny. I've still got the people like, oh, why haven't you shaved it off?
It is. I've shaved my identity. Mine off, man. Back to the goatee.
Mine will stay.
It is springtime in Canberra now.
I shaved mine off for my sister's wedding, and I don't think I'll ever do it again now till this thing starts going a bit grayer. Look, we'll have a look at Twitch, Bogues. We'll see how that goes. Like I said, you're the IT, intelligence out of us three. So whatever you reckon is best.
Benny's saying if you got YouTube Premium, you can. Yeah, no, I've actually got YouTube Premium, but most other people don't want to pay for YouTube, and that's a fair call.
Yep. So we'll have a look, see how it goes.
Yeah.
I think this is our third season of the channel, Bows. We're going to season 4, next year. So we'll see how we go. But we won't rule anything out. We're always trying to improve the content and capabilities and that sort of stuff. So we'll just see what's best for the channel.
And keep an eye out, because as I said, I might put up some random videos. I don't know what about. As I said, just to you got to keep the content going to keep the channel in the algorithm, and hopefully onto bigger and better things next year. We always get a bit of a boost at the start of the season, and then it drops off at the end. But we'll see how we go. We'll keep pushing on.
Yeah, sounds good. You're on Benny's list. But yeah, I think that'll do us, Bogan. So thank you, mate, for everything throughout the year. Obviously, you're a big part of what we do. Much appreciated. Obviously, Joshy not here with us, but also Joshy and everyone that's tuned in throughout the year and continues to support us. I have no idea how many's on at the moment, but thank you all for everyone that's tuned in and has jumped in the chat and gets amongst it with us. Just love talking footy, love talking Supercoach. So, bring on next season. Look forward to getting amongst it with you all again, and let's do it all again, eh?
Have a good one.
See yous. Oh, yeah, big. Are we still on?
I did just hit transition, but the outro didn't play. So, yeah.
We will do a Big Bash League. We won't do a channel on it. Kando, I don't know enough about cricket. I will play it. There's also some guys doing the racing, which I'm not in, but Benny, good luck in the racing. Joshy would be in on that one. I wouldn't have a fucking clue what's going on there. I
believe Joshy's in it, but we're not doing BJ on race day this year. So
yeah, we'll do a Big Bash. Maybe we'll do a group leagues as well. So maybe we'll use the channel just to promote some of the codes, Bogues. Even if it's just a quick short one, just to say, hey, we're running some leagues. So I think that starts on the 28th.
Yeah. Oh, and suggestions in the comments for those who are listening. For if you do have any specific requests for content and stuff like that you want us to put on the channel.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Cheers, guys.
And no outro this week because I don't know what's going on. It's broken. So have a good one, peeps.
Catch you, boys.